with Mortal Kombat 12 being rumored, right? I don't like to talk about rumored games or leaked games. Really, I like to wait until we know for sure that the game is coming out, that the devs have given us some sort of solid information on it, and then I have no problem moving forward and discussing the game. But, you know, for this topic of conversation, I've seen a lot of people on Reddit and on Twitter talking about the enhanced moves in Mortal Kombat 11, Mortal Kombat 9, and Mortal Kombat 10, Mortal Kombat X, whatever you want to call it, right? The NRS style enhanced move. And people were calling them EX moves, and other people were correcting them. They were like, hey, those aren't EX moves, bro. Those are meter burn moves. And a lot of newer fighting game players, people who started off with Strive, maybe started off with Street Fighter V, maybe even started off with like a game like Mortal Kombat 11, you know, these more modern games, I feel like they don't know the difference between a meter burn move and an EX move. And it's not like such a big difference that like it needs to be discussed in depth, but I'd like to just give a little primer and show like 2 examples of the difference between an EX move and a meter burn, right? And Mortal Kombat isn't the only example I can use. I actually found a non-NRS example of meter burn moves. Now, the definition of meter burn moves are moves that use meter for an extension of a string or attack that previously did not have one. That's the most common definition of a meter burn move. An EX move is a powered up version of a move that requires a stock meter generally to use. So when you look at something like Ryu's Fireball, right? When he does like the really strong fireball in Street Fighter 4, right? Really strong fireball that requires you to do quarter circle forward, light, medium, and heavy punch. That would be considered an EX move. And the reason why is that it's not an extension. And then when you look at someone along the lines of Liu Kang in Mortal Kombat X, who has a fireball, and then for the extension, he can shoot a low fireball. Now that is something that we call, and maybe that was Mortal Kombat 11. So I apologize if one of you Mortal Kombat X players out there gets really offended that I got the Liu Kangs mixed up. They're busted in both games, it doesn't matter. That's an example of a meter burn move, right? And I think the big difference between a meter burn move and a non-meter burn move is just the fact that it's an extension, right? Meter burn moves, EX moves generally are just moves that have like extra property, but they don't have usually a way to hit confirm or cause a stagger off of said move. I want to show you guys an example of both. So we're gonna pull up our handy dandy window capture. I don't know how to do this. I'm pretty bad at YouTube and at Twitch. Right, so we're gonna pull up our handy dandy. There we go. Right, so we need to have this screen up. You guys can see that, right? That looks pretty ugly. So let's see if we can fix that. There we go. Okay, so this is gonna kind of be in the way of me, but it doesn't matter, right? So what I want to show you guys is this. Okay, Ryu is currently, I think the last action he did was an original Shoryuken. Okay. Now look at the startup of that. It looks different, right? So yeah, you could say that that's like a meter burn move, but at the same time, look at that. You see, so what the difference between these are, you have to do the input plus punch at the same time, right? So let me show you on a pad. On a pad, hey, what up, Tempting Tragedy? You want to play in a little bit? I'm on PS4 though. On a pad, do Shoryuken. It's forward, down, forward, any of the punch buttons. I'm not sure what the punch buttons are on Street Fighter. Let's try square. Square's light punch, right? But if you want to do the EX version, not meter burn, EX version, you want to press 2 punch buttons at the same time and do the motion. You do the motion and then you press 2 punch buttons. Can you guys see this? Is the screen in the way? Do I need to move to this side? So on this side, move it over here. It would be forward, down, forward, punch, forward, down, forward, punch, punch, punch. And the difference between that and a meter burn move is meter burn moves are an extension of a string, not an enhancement of a string. And I can show you another good example as soon as I can get back to my thing here. Go ahead and get back. And close window capture real quick. Hey, Tim. Go ahead and remove Mitsurugi from. Let's go ahead and remove him from the screen. Add Mitsurugi to the screen from Soul Calibur 5. Soul Calibur 5 is an older fighting game, but I think that it serves its purpose pretty well here, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this up and I'm gonna show you what's happening, right? So this is 3B, which is a standard move by itself. Maybe we can find it here somewhere. Let's see if we can find 3B. So here's 3B. It's around here somewhere. Okay. Unfortunate. Here it is. Here it is. Here's 3B. Right after this. So here's 3B. A standard, all by itself move that is one solid input. 3 plus B. From down, forward, 2. For you Tekken players. Right? Okay. Now let's go back to that move we were looking at the very beginning of this. I think is right after this. So this, as you see, is an input after, not plus. So you have to press A plus B plus K or 1 plus 2 plus 4 after inputting the 3B. Okay, so what that does is it causes an extension to the 3B. Sure, you see the spark already, right? But that's the perfect example of a meter burn move right there. Boom, boom, boom. Because that string itself is a normal string. It exists in the game without that extension. There we go. And so both of those are examples of meter burn moves. Now in Soul Calibur 5, meter burn moves weren't so egregious to the fact that you were always waiting for them. A lot of them had the hit spark like that, where it's at the beginning. And others had the hit spark after you did the initial move and then did the extension. So in games like Mortal Kombat 11, Mortal Kombat 9, Mortal Kombat X, the NRS style games, they don't really have EX moves. They have meter burn moves. The difference between an EX move and a meter burn move is just that it's an extension. The simplest way to describe the difference is that one is an extension and one is a powered up version of the move instead. Now what that causes in the NRS games, and even in Soul Calibur, because there's still meter burn moves, you still have meter burn moves in 6, there's a few, right? And then the soul charge attacks are essentially meter burn moves because they take moves that already exist for the most part and allow you to add an extra extension that your opponent has to wait around for. What I'm getting at is, because of the fact that there's an extra extension that you have to wait around for, it causes these sick things called mental plus frame. You cannot do that with an EX move. You can only do that with a meter burn move. Now imagine that your opponent goes for a string that's -6 on block. You're like, hell yeah, that's -6, I can take my turn back. And they do an EX move at the end, but that EX move is still punishable as the end of their string. You're like, okay, whatever, I don't care. Yep, nice, wasted a bar meter. Let me hit him now, right? Now let's look at the opposite coin, the coin of meter burn move or enhance move, right? The difference is, now I'm doing a string or a button that has an extension that might be punishable, but might also clip you if you try to press a button too early. That's the big difference. And the reason why this whole topic of conversation even came up, to loop it back around, is that for Mortal Kombat 12, which is rumored to be revealed at the Game Awards or whatever tomorrow, people are expecting Mortal Kombat 12 to be there. People are saying that it's going to be an enhanced version of Mortal Kombat 11 where they bring back characters from 9 and 10. Which, to be fair, I think would be pretty cool, except for the fact that I don't really like all the mechanics inside of MK11. I'd rather go back to an MK9 style. But we're not here for my opinions. We're here for the facts. And the facts are, people on Reddit were confused about the difference between meter burn moves and EX moves, and wanted, after they were told what the difference was, some of them were like, well, they should remove those. That seems like a really dumb way to cause a staggered offense. That's really stupid. Which is funny because all Injustice, Mortal Kombat since NRS took over have been that way, to be fair, right? It's relatively normal. It's not something that you expect to see, that you don't expect to see. You expect to see this kind of offense from NRS games. It's part of the way that they play. And if you were to ask me which ones I like more between EX moves and meter burn moves, it's 100% meter burn. meter burn moves add an extra layer of depth and strategy to offense and defense that doesn't already always exist, right? So there's a lot of moves that are like, I don't know, let's say they're not like actually, they're not reversals. I guess we'll call them reversals, right? So they're armored reversals. In MKX, they had armored reversals, and those armored reversals sometimes had follow-ups that you had to EX, right? So you do your armored move with Scorpion, and then you'd have to press, you know, I think it's 1+2 again to EX it, to meter burn it, right? To meter burn it. And because you did that, now there's an extra extension that you have to worry about. I think Mortal Kombat 11 Scorpion teleport works the same way, right? The first hit is punishable on block, and the second hit is also punishable on block. But if you try to punish the first hit, you get smacked by the second hit. You gotta like look at his animation, and there's nuance to it, and it makes for a whole new level of like counterplay that it doesn't exist with EX moves. So to ask for the removal of meter burn moves in favor of something like EX moves, if you're really an NRS fan, you wouldn't be complaining. It's more common to see meter burn moves in a game like Mortal Kombat, and I really like the idea. I like meter burn moves. I wish we still had meter burn moves in Soul Calibur, right? We have the Soul Charge, which gives you meter burn moves essentially with your soul gauge that starts to run out. You know, your soul gauge timer starts to run out when you're using more of those meter burn moves that only exist in Soul Charge, which is pretty cool. But it's not the same as you know, just having them on command whenever you want them. Anyways, it was just like a quick discussion about meter burn moves versus EX moves. And of course, this is going on YouTube, so if you're watching it there, please feel free to like and comment if you're a bigger fan of EX moves or meter burn moves, if you like Street Fighter, if you like Mortal Kombat. And I think even KOF now has meter burn moves. It has both EX and meter burn moves. It has both. You know, in the definition, at least, right? Because there are some moves that immediately trigger a different property, and there are some that you do an action after. Let's hope that game's gonna be sick. I'm not gonna play it, but I'm definitely gonna watch it. I'm a big fan of watching a lot of fighting games. I'm gonna watch them more than play. Just like hopefully you guys are when it comes to my YouTube videos. So if you're watching, thanks for watching.